Steve asked Nancy out for a date, but did she tell him, don't come unless your stimulus package is bigger? Hey, good morning, everybody. Hope you're great. It's Thursday morning with incredibly great news. I hope the toast is not burning because you need to butter it up, as Steve Mnuchin is now buttering up to Nancy Pelosi to give her something larger in a stimulus package. That was her demand. And wow, I've never seen great news like this on a Thursday morning in a day in which we got economic reports, we got new jobless claims. I have so much detail for you. The bottom line before I get to the details is great news. There's going to be a deal. They're getting back to the table. The question is whether Mark Meadows is going to kick the table. Let me get right to the details. This is morning's LALATE every morning at 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and we have incredible developments overnight about the second stimulus check, which Steve and Nancy agreed to over 2 weeks ago. That was what this channel first confirmed 2 weeks ago. There was agreement about the check, but you weren't getting the check because it was part of a stimulus package. And what held up the stimulus package? I reported over 5 days ago that it was a bailout of states, a $1 trillion allotment in the second stimulus package that was holding up the negotiations. Nancy wanted it, Steve didn't, and it fell apart on Friday. From there, everything sort of went crazy with bad reporting on broadcast news, bad reporting on other channels on YouTube, and I told you just zone it out, stay with me, subscribe with me. Well, guess what? Overnight, all my reporting was confirmed yet again. First of all, I had told you no one had left town. Second, I had told you no one had ended negotiations. Third, I had told you everyone's ready to vote on this. Fourth, I had told you that the vote is going to be done in this month of August, and all that was confirmed overnight. In the last 24 hours, other people had told you, one, Republicans and Democrats had left town. Untrue. That the vote was not going to happen until September. Untrue. That nothing was going to happen on this bill until September. Also untrue. That this couldn't be done until September, and then all talks were completely eradicated. All untrue. The great news is you're with the guy that's giving you the facts, and the facts are, he made the phone call. Steve made the phone call. He said, hey, Nancy. Steve Mnuchin confirmed overnight he called Nancy Pelosi and offered her something stimulating to come back to the stimulus negotiations. The question is whether she accepted or not. He called her up Wednesday afternoon, both sides confirmed, and said, let's go back to the negotiation tables. I want to get this done. Let's get this done this week. Wow. Yeah. Don't burn the coffee. Don't burn the toast. Let's calm it down. I told you they're going back to the table. I told you they're sitting down. He called her up and said, let's get back to business. His call to Nancy Pelosi came after my reporting yesterday that he's going to make the call. My reporting that everyone around him, whether it's in the White House or it's Republican leaders in the Senate or Republican leaders in the House, we're all saying, get the friggin' deal done now or we are toast, like everyone's toast that we're having for breakfast this morning. Mitch McConnell yesterday started Wednesday morning saying, this is insane, you better get the deal done. By midday Wednesday, it was more great news as protesters were picketing Mitch anywhere he walked in D.C. saying, Mitch, bring me my money or give me my money, something like that. The heat ran up quickly as Pete Navarro, who's trade ambassador in the cabinet to Donald Trump, said, this is insane, get the deal done. Mitt Romney said, get the deal done. You don't get the deal done, we're all toast. Marco Rubio said, if you don't do the deal, American businesses across the country will crash and burn, and they will not come back, and the housing market and the real estate market will absolutely go into the tank. And then Steve picked up the phone, said, hi, Nancy, remember me? I'm the guy with the glasses, and the guy, you like me, but you don't like my cohort, Mark Meadows. Let's do a deal. And that's what happened. Mark Steve Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi confirmed the call. They both confirmed the call in a statement, last night. Pelosi and Schumer issued one statement about the call, and Mnuchin issued another statement about the call. Ironically, they couldn't agree upon what was said in the call beyond the fact that it was an offer to go back to the table. Mnuchin said he wants the negotiations to start today. Nancy claims the negotiations, the call involved her telling Mnuchin, don't come to me unless you have more money on the table, unless you have a bigger stimulus package. Otherwise, I'm not coming to the negotiation table. Now, on the flip side, this is Nancy Pelosi. So when she says something, sort of flip it to the other side, because this is the way she negotiates. It doesn't mean that she's not going to give you a stimulus package. It doesn't mean she's not going to give you a stimulus check. This is the way she negotiates. She negotiates very hard, which a lot of people like. Some people makes other people nervous, but that's the way she negotiates. She's historically known as a very tough negotiator. So on the same breath, after she got off the phone with Steve Mnuchin, she made it very clear in a statement to press, which I have in front of me, the deal's going to be done in August. We're not waiting to September. She said, and I'm going to say this bluntly, how she said it, everyone will be dead by September. So she's not going to wait to September. That's the great news. She doesn't want you to be dead. It's a great way to wake up your mornings with. Lord. So what happened? So Steve said, we have made it clear to the administration we are willing to resume negotiations once they start to take this process seriously. That was a statement by Schumer and Pelosi. We've again made it clear that we're going to resume negotiations at any time. Mnuchin then said Pelosi's comments were not an accurate reflection of our conversation. In his own statement, he said she made clear she was unwilling to meet to continue negotiations unless we agree to advance her proposal costing at least $2 trillion. The Democrats have no interest in negotiating again, said Mnuchin as a flip side. But Mnuchin did confirm that he made a phone call to sit down and negotiate with her. But whether or not she made a demand to meet before the negotiations kicked up is sort of the flip side. The bottom line was, when asked whether or not she would wait to September, Nancy said no. The negotiations are going to resume in August. So it's just, are they going to resume this morning? They're going to resume tomorrow afternoon. They're going to resume is basically what Nancy is saying. She's just playing really big hardball. So what does this mean? It means that your second stimulus check, which the two parties agreed upon, is still coming to you. Your second stimulus check would still likely come to you in the month of August. Let me explain this to you. This is so important. To get the stimulus check in your physical hands is a very quick process. And we know the routing times because we have Steve Mnuchin giving us the routing times, and we know how long it takes to get this done. Let me explain. If Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin reach an agreement today, what would happen is the Senate would reconvene tomorrow. The reason why they would reconvene is there's an order by Mitch McConnell and an order by Nancy Pelosi to get these members into Congress, into session, into the actual chambers within 24-hour notice. They don't care where they are. There's an order upon them to appear. Second, the president can order them to appear. So let's say Nancy and Steve got an agreement this afternoon on the package that includes your check. Senate would reconvene tomorrow, vote, pass it tomorrow. House would reconvene the next day, vote, and pass it that next day. President would sign into law the day after. That's 3 days from now. Guess how fast you can get your funds thereafter. 10 days they would be sent to you thereafter. So 13 days thereafter. Depending on your bank, you could have your money on the 14th day. Some banks take a little bit longer to process electronic delivery. So 14 days plus or minus bank routing times. What's today? The 13th of August? Hello, let's do the math. You can still get the funds in the month of August. You can still get your second stimulus check in the month of August if there was a deal today. If the deal is, 3 days from now between Stephen and Mitch and Stephen and Nancy, you could still get your funds in the month of August. That's why this is really great news. I don't want you to get confused about this whole gobbledygook of bad reporting out there. If you're a paper check person, you would just add an additional week on this. Now, how did the day start? Well, the day started with this sort of sea of people urging an incredible movement in the negotiations. Yesterday, Mitch McConnell was under fire. He is literally being tarred and burned by his citizens back in Kentucky, saying, if you don't get a deal, you're toast. Like everyone's toast is morning breakfast. You're toast. They were picketing at his office. They said, Mitch, where's my money? That's incredibly great news. Mitt Romney said you have to have a deal. You can't keep on doing this. This is insane. He said $300 a week for FPUC, which is actually where we are now. If you didn't catch my reporting yesterday, it's dropped now to $300. If you didn't miss that, I'll explain that again later this afternoon on Afternoons LALATE. No one can survive on $300 a week. Marco Rubio said big business, small business, mom and pop businesses all going to fold. Real estate market's going to crash. You can't keep on doing this silliness, folks. You got to get this deal done now. PPP money has expired. Businesses need the PPP money right now. I had 35 people requesting to get EIDL loans overnight. More about that in a second. People want funding, loans, grants. They want more than just even stimulus check. They want all this money. You want this money. Big news coming up later in this video. I'm going to be showing you how to get that money. Yeah, stay with me in a second. So a lot of people are saying get this money to people right now. Eviction moratoriums are not in place in 50% of the country. The executive order issued last Saturday does not give an eviction moratorium. I cover that as well. So there's 40 million cases sitting in eviction courts. 40% of American households that are African or Hispanic are facing eviction this week. So it's a very serious situation. I have another report here. I don't even think I have time to go through it. It says black women who have worked the front line are getting a fraction of any colleague, are getting a disproportionate amount of money on just normal salary. Hazard pay, which was paid by businesses like grocery stores and big box retailers when the pandemic first hit, are not agreeing to pay hazard pay. That's why hazard pay on the second stimulus package is so needed. This is why I'm here for all these things for you. I'm here to ensure you get the eviction moratorium. I'm here to ensure you get the rent assistance. I'm going to go over that right now. Pelosi said that Mnuchin did not come up with enough rent grant money. There was an agreement on the moratorium, but not enough grant money. She said the House plan proposed $60 billion in food. First of all, let me do food. She says that that her plan proposed $60 billion in food stamps, food assistance, but Mnuchin offered $250,000. What the hell is $250,000? I don't think Steve Mnuchin's annual restaurant receipt is more than $250,000. That's like nothing. Then she said she offered $100 billion for rental and mortgage assistance. This is the grant part of the money. And the Republicans didn't even offer a penny. She said Republicans have now increased school funding to $200 billion. This is to make sure that schools are safe. From $100 billion, Republicans only had offered just a fraction of this. Now, what's strange about this is that Mnuchin had on Monday claimed that the numbers were closer. He claimed that he had offered Pelosi 50% or more of everything they agreed upon. He said on CNBC on Monday, I have the quotes right here, there was a compromise for everything that we agreed upon. He said they offered $105 billion for this. We offered 105. He said they wanted more. They didn't want more money on PPP. They gave us more money on PPP. They wanted more money on food stamps. We agreed to money on food stamps. He said there was an agreement on money for food stamps. She said there absolutely was no agreement on it. You didn't give me enough money still. He said he had agreed to more money for the schools. She said there's still not money for schools. He said he had agreed for grants for rent assistance. She said there was not. So the interesting thing is this. Republicans are now not backing Meadows whatsoever. And Mnuchin is starting to come under fire as well. If you didn't watch my reporting yesterday, Mark Meadows is sort of this outsider. He is new in the Trump administration. He just became a cabinet member just a few weeks ago in March. He's not been around before. He's not seen as sophisticated enough to be in this negotiation table. Everyone's saying get his butt out of the room. Steve Mnuchin, on the other hand, people generally like. Steve Mnuchin is the person who brokered the first stimulus package by negotiating with Nancy Pelosi. Steve and Nancy actually agree and like each other. It's Mark Meadows who has become the hot mess express. And so now Republican leaders are saying, listen here, I don't care what you do in your presidential campaign, but keep that idiot Mark Meadows out of the negotiation room. Because as Republican senators and Republican House representatives, we are under fire. Because this guy, Mark Meadows, who's not a elected official, he's a cabinet member. He has a job. He's not up for re-election. He has a job under the by being a member of the cabinet. He could cost us our jobs in the Senate and the House if he continually sort of stonewalls everyone. Mnuchin doesn't have that priority. Mnuchin wants to get the deal done. So that's the great news. Your second stimulus check would deliver to you in the month of August $1,200, whether you're adult dependent, minor dependent, single individual. Everyone will be $1,200. Child support is likely not to be taken out of it because that's what the Democrats proposed. Federal and state taxes would likely not be taken out of it because that's what the Democrats propose. Hazard pay appears to be still on the front burner, not gone. $10,000 if you moved to the pandemic. FPUC is likely to land at somewhere between $400 to $600 per week, pure payout, not this blended thing. I've been reporting that number for a very long time. I've been reporting these things, going through incredible details for you. And it's hard to keep faith, I get it. But I'm literally on top of every single breath of Nancy and Steve. I know what breath mint they're having. I know what hours she's doing her lip gloss before she walks into the room with Steve. I know what they are literally having for lunch. So I mean facetious, but you get the point. It's for someone to just say, everyone's left town, they're gone. Don't do a video until September when they reconvene. Well, then you don't know what's going on. And I'm sorry you've been told false rumors and false hope by your sisters, brothers, uncles, and nephew, but stop listening to your sisters, brothers, uncle's nephew. Listen to the guy with the purple shirt who didn't wear this purple shirt yesterday. I have the schedule of the Hot Mess Express. I know where it's stopping at every minute. So we as a community are getting through this together. Let me give you some great news. Let me give you some, I've already given you great news. Let me give you some incredibly great news. And I'll give this to you first because I don't know how long this video is going to run. I don't want to go overtime. Yesterday, I said to you, there's a lot of other stuff you can get out there. Money, moolah, dinero. There's a lot of other money you can get out there that is still there and money that is still coming out. And so I told you, yes, you can focus on the second stimulus check, but there's a lot of other stuff that you qualify for. And people may not have told you, or you may not have watched my other videos. So let me go over them with you right now. And then I have a big surprise for you at the end. First, the second stimulus check does not conflict with anything else. So you can get a second stimulus check if you're on SSI, SSI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits. It doesn't disqualify something else, and you don't have to be on benefits. You don't not have to be on benefits. You can still get it. Next, hazard pay. Hazard pay is $10,000. It's not law yet. Repeat, it's not law yet. So you can't get hazard pay this week. But if it becomes law, you can get up to $10,000 if you worked during the pandemic as an essential worker. The entire process of hazard pay is going to be very involved. But guess what? I'm going to be here for you for that. More about that in a second. FPUC. FPUC goes on top of UI and PUA. Unemployment assistance, if you worked as a W-2 employee before the pandemic hit, or PUA if you're an independent contractor or self-employed before the pandemic hit, and have even just had reduced hours, you can qualify for money. A lot of money. If your impact date is back to March, you could be getting upwards of $800 a week in the state of California every single week. That could be 20 weeks. That could be over $10,000. Yeah, you heard me right. So don't just focus on that $1,200 check. There's a lot of things else out there. There's the EIDL loan if you're a self-employed independent contractor or have any type of Schedule C Uber Lyft driver. How about a $150,000 loan? You like that? I think you do. And then there's a potential that the EIDL grant could be coming back. Then Mark Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi are trying to reinsert PPP, which is a lot of money, PPP, more loans. Yes, all these things are yours under the first, second, and subsequent stimulus packages. And so how do you get them? Where do you get them? And how do you find out? First of all, you have to subscribe to this channel. Go to the front of this channel. There's a subscribe button. hit the alert button next to it, because I have updates on the regularly. If you're not getting alerts and you are a subscriber, drop in the comments below and I'll send you the link. But the big news is the following. This channel came to fruition by me helping people get a lot of money, not just a little bit of money. In the early months of this channel, we launched in April, I got viewers somewhere between $10 to $25 million in EIDL loans on the first stimulus package that they were entitled to but had not gotten but for my help. A lot of money. And I'm still doing it. Some days I get somewhere upwards of 10 EIDL loans approved at about $150,000. Yeah, you can do the math. Over $1 million. I'm getting people a lot of money, but I couldn't do it all because I'm recording so much. So 3 weeks ago, I launched something called The Private. It's a private Instagram account that was set up for other people to help one another get EIDL loans approved. We now have expanded to no less than 5 mentors. Yes, 5 people who got EIDL loans because of me and have now turned around to help you. These are people who, if you take care nicely of them and tip them well and treat them well and treat them with respect, can take you from no loan or loan denial to loan approval and up to $150,000 of loan approval. They're incredibly wonderful, wonderful people like you and me. That's the first part. Here's the exciting part. In the last 48 hours, a whole flock of people have said, I want to help too. How can I help, LLA? I want to help like those other people. And guess what? We now have 3 people in the private who are helping people with their unemployment UI and PUA applications. Yes. So if you have problems or questions about how to get PUA or UI, get FPUC, get money, you can now also come into the private and get those and have those mentors help you as well. Finally, and it can't keep on getting better than this. If hazard pay is approved, which I think it is on the second stimulus package, we are going to ramp up hazard pay into the private as well. We will be here to help you, hopefully, to get hazard pay as well if it seems a logical fit. It's all about helping one another. And yeah, you can do this or this or this, but my focus is you and me. My focus is helping you. And hopefully your focus is helping other people as well. Join me this afternoon on Afternoons LALATE as the story continues, The Seduction of Nancy by Steve Mnuchin, 3:30 Pacific Standard Time. Join us. A lot of fun. It's a great morning. It's a lot of great news. As always, stay informed, stay in focus. Hit that subscribe and alert button on the front of this channel and stay of LA for more.